So I always have a chat with Darren before I start, before Darren lets everybody in. And he said, "Are you ready?" I said, "No." No. So you could say the whole illusion is that there will be a time when you're ready. The whole illusion is that there will be a readiness, that there is a possibility of being ready. That there is something to be ready for, and someone to be ready, which is the same. You can't be ready is the most wonderful news. There is no possibility of readiness. And I say it's good news. Of course, it's the shit. It's absolutely shit news for me. Because, so what can I do to become ready? Well, absolutely nothing. Absolutely anything. There is no difference between absolutely nothing and absolutely anything. Nothing will make you more ready. This is already. 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 Oh, such a joke. And then there may be a great sadness for all the effort to prepare oneself. However you've done that, however that's been envisaged or however it's been imagined, what readiness might look like. All for nothing, literally. And so although it is a joke and it is funny, it's tragic. The tragedy is how much effort the one who was looking for who knows what, for something else. And there's nothing else. Not even nothing else. So this is as much of everything and as much of nothing as there is already. That includes you saying that you're not ready. Well, that's one of the shortest introductions I've ever done, but I think that's it already. So, if you've so if you've got any questions about readiness or anything else, or you just want to share something, then by all means do. I am in, I'll give another plug. I'm in London on Saturday. If you're passing by Hampstead High Street, 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. All the details are on the website. The website, what am I saying? The website, you know, the one and only.
This Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah. So Saturday the 19th at 2 p.m. And while I'm plugging stuff, I might as well plug my poetry book should be out for Christmas. Now, if that isn't a gift for everyone, I don't know what is. The perfect stocking filler for to annoy any of your friends. Give it to someone who's got no interest in non-duality, so they can use it as a doorstop or a, you know, to prop up a table. Michael.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Michael. Lovely to see you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. I mean, the sense is that you can't be either more or less ready. You can't be unready.
No.
Or ready. And, you know, I see the grief there. I see the loss, the sense of sadness, because I tried so hard to be ready for so long. But it's also, I mean, now it's just experienced as a relief.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that great?
Oh, it's lovely, yeah.
No readiness, no ready, and no unready.
No, absolutely not.
Just exactly as it is. Just this.
Yeah. Yeah, because the sense of unreadiness is just equally is equally as nonsensical as the one who might be ready.
But we like to think ready is good and
Yeah.
not ready is bad.
Yeah.
So just undercutting all of that,
Mm-hmm.
then there's freedom.
True.
That's all that's left.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Isn't it lovely? Mm.
Yeah, just simply there's no one who could be ready or unready. Yeah. Equally so.
But so much anxiety and fear and effort went into being something other than this,
Yeah.
with no results to show for it.
No, I mean, it is tragic. I said,
It is.
the sadness is beautiful.
It is sad. It is. I can't feel sad right now, but it is sad. I get the
Yeah.
sadness. I mean,
No.
I've experienced it. Many times.
Yeah.
And the frustration and the disappointment and even the despair.
Yeah.
Of what if I'm unready? What if I am?
Yeah. Yeah. Because what if I'm not prepared myself for when it appears?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Always ready. Always vigilant.
Yeah, or you could
about
say the whole energy, the whole sense of being me is vigilance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Without vigilance, who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. And with vigilance, I mean, vigilance is fear.
And delusion.
Yeah.
Because there's an underlying sense, if I'm vigilant enough, I can be in control of this.
Yeah, of course.
I just have to be vigilant enough somehow, all the time.
Yeah.
And then shit happens anyway.
And everyone knows that. Everyone knows shit happens regardless of my vigilance. Right.
Yeah. But somehow that doesn't,
No.
we don't connect the dots somehow.
Oh,
There's still this illusion that if
well,
only a little more vigilant, maybe.
Yeah, well, it just shows that I'm not vigilant enough. Yeah.
Yeah. If only I were.
Yeah, if only I try harder. Or I need to, I was on that path, and obviously that wasn't the path because look, this shit happened. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Michael.
No. Thank you, Tim. It's good to be here.
Petra, that's a big glass of wine you've got there. I'm a little bit envious. It's big. That is one big glass.
Yeah, but that's
Two.
not much in it.
No,
it's
not
just
much.
a big glass.
That's
It only seems that it's big because it's so less wine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea of a big glass, so it doesn't look like you're drinking as much. That's the whole point. Mika's on the Jägermeister. How funny is that? There's a lot of drinking going on. Yeah, Will's got a beer. I've got a cup of coffee. Something amiss.
In the chat, Robert says, how does one separate physical illness with their sense of identity about it? How does one separate physical illness with his or her sense of identity about it?
The sense of identity about it, that it's my illness, appears just the same as the sense of illness. I mean, they're just what seems to be happening. So if there's a sense of mine, I haven't got any advice about how to get rid of me. Fucking hell, I'd be a billionaire if I could do that. No, the sense that it's my illness, it's my pain, it's my suffering, appears just like anything else. I mean, if I knew the secret, that would be the secret, wouldn't it? I'd write a book called The Secret, probably, and sell a fucking lot more books than This Deafening Silence will ever sell. Because of course there isn't a secret. The sense of me is an appearance like everything else. That can seemingly just stop appearing, just like anything else stops appearing. So I don't have any advice. I mean, if you want advice on how to disassociate from pain and from illness, then there will be people who could help you do that, which might be beneficial to you, but that's not what's being spoken about at all. So I don't want to bore you with my toothache, but I've had toothache, and in a very real way, the pain is more painful without the sense of it being my pain. There's just the pain. So this is not a panacea in any way to relieve a human being of being human, which includes physical pain, emotional pain. Quite the contrary, really. What self tries to do is to manage it by controlling it, doing something, such as disassociation. But of course, disassociation is just as nonsensical as association without the one who would be associated with the pain or disassociated from it. Neither of them make any sense anymore. If there's pain, there's pain. In a very straightforward way.
Natalie has a hand up.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Apart from a bit of toothache.
Yeah, that's no fun. I don't know, this message was somehow popped up on my YouTube a few months ago.
Right.
And then it was kind of, I don't know, something grabbed me with it, and it, like, I just couldn't, I was like, whoa, this is like something that I kind of felt anyway. And then I listened to some YouTube. I ended up seeing Jim Newman in Chicago, and that was just last month, I think. But anyway, after my mind or my brain was just like melted for a month trying to figure this out, I just was like going around and around. Okay, well, I can't get outside of it, so it's not even me doing that. I mean, it was just this whole thing. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I had a freak out, like I was crying, then laughing, then just kind of like, whoa. And I called Jim. I actually don't even know. I didn't even think it would work. I don't know. I just called him.
Yeah.
And a couple things were said, and I don't know what happened. Nothing happened, but everything just stopped. Like the need to figure this out stopped. The need to know anything, like literally anything, just kind of ended, like not even a big way. It was just like, okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it was like almost like a relief, like I didn't have to figure anything out anymore. It was just kind of like this sigh of like, oh, I don't know, like there was never anything to figure out in the first place.
Yeah.
Like this is where this was hiding the whole time. It was right here in front of my face, you know?
Yeah.
And then, but I even thought, but that seeking was just what was happening at the moment. It's not good or bad. Like sometimes before because I haven't really been on a spiritual path necessarily, but you know, I kind of would listen to things, and I got to the point where I was like, half the stuff these people are saying doesn't make sense. I'm going to meditate and I'm somehow going to connect to my higher self. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, who would know there's a higher self? And I even had gone on a silent retreat in the summer, and I asked that of this Swami, and he was like, oh, you need a lot more integration. And well, I've never even heard these words. I'm like, integration, okay. And then he's telling me to do mantra and be brahmacharya. I'm like, what is that? Like, what are we talking about here? So anyway.
Just to get you ready, Natalie.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm not, okay. Well, I don't think that's ever going to
This is what
happen.
I'm
And I've
saying.
always had that.
All of that
Yeah.
is prepare so that when you're ready, then it will appear.
Right. Like, and I was raised in, like, I went to Catholic school and all of that. And obviously as a kid, I'm like thinking God is nice, but he's mean. I mean, it was always like this weird kind of like, and I don't know, I just kind of like fell away from that after many, many years, and then went on the spiritual path, then heard this message. And it's just like, I don't know, like, it's just started happening. Like I just talked to Jim a couple weeks ago, and I stopped worrying about any of it. It just stopped like going through my brain. And now I guess like, I don't know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
No, you've said it really perfectly, Natalie. And now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. And I don't
Now
care. I don't need to know.
And now I just don't know. That's it.
I just don't know.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little tricky talking to people sometimes, because I almost feel like I need to be more invested in what they're saying,
Well,
you know?
Well, that's habit. Yeah, that's an old habit. You cause to be very invested.
Right.
But I mean, what we're speaking about, this, you can still pretend to others. You can still pretend to.
That's what it feels like. It feels like pretending.
You can still do that, but you can't pretend to yourself anymore, can you?
No. No. And I kept thinking like before, it's going to be obvious, but now I feel like, yeah, it's so obvious, but like nothing, it's this way anyway. Like, I don't know. It's fun. I don't know. I love hearing about it. So I guess that's what I'm doing, listening. You know, I heard someone interviewing you, and I thought, well, why not, you know?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Yeah.
What you said is great.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It really is unconditional love. I mean, it's everything. So good seeing you.
Thanks, Natalie. That was great.
Thanks.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's what we're speaking about not knowing. And not knowing is okay. Whereas me is always very uncomfortable with not knowing, because what does it give me to manage, to control? There's nothing in it for me in not knowing. And of course, you can just, self will make not knowing into a knowing, so I'll know when I don't know. No. There's really no knowing from not knowing. That's what we're speaking about. So the whole illusion is that you know what you know, and you know what you don't know.
You know, and I don't know anything. And I guess I was pretending to know everything before, like just anything. Like, and then when it's almost like I hear myself, I don't know how, but saying something to someone that's like, I don't even know that, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just more of, I don't know. It's not even anything. It's not more of anything, actually. Just seems like like yesterday, I lost my AirPod Pros. Like I lost the case and the right earbud. And I was pissed. I'm like, this is bullshit. You know, I was pissed off. And
Yeah.
then something in there was like, yeah, it sucks, but it's not like, damn it, that was $250. There wasn't like, I don't know. I just, upon reflecting, I think like, it was just like, yeah, it sucks. I mean, it just sucks. Okay.
Yeah, but being pissed is totally natural.
It's totally natural.
There's nothing-
Exactly. It
yeah,
sucks. Yeah. It's like just, okay, yeah, I'm pissed off. Who would be like, I
Yeah.
think, and sometimes there would be spiritual people that would make you think you're an asshole for being pissed about that. They're like, well, you should go to your higher self, and you know, maybe someone's gonna find those AirPods that really actually needs them.
Yeah.
And you could be of service to them in some galactic way, you know.
Well, this is liberation of being pissed, is what we're speaking of.
Yes. Yeah. And it, you know what? It felt good to be pissed.
For every
not and then not say to myself, oh, you shouldn't be pissed. It felt just good to be pissed off. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks again.
You may have seen the photograph that someone took of me speaking in Asheville with my halo. But what we're speaking of will not make you a saint. It won't make you nicer, a better person. So we're talking about freedom, freedom for the human being from the one who wanted to shackle, imprison, control, manage every aspect of being human. Every, you know, self doesn't leave any stone unturned about what it is to be a human being. It wants to manage the whole fucking shit show, and then wonders why generally feels shit, because it's making the vast majority of what we call human wrong. That's the nature. That isn't the nature of every self, but it is the nature of virtually every self. Making most of what is naturally human, especially emotions, like getting pissed. By the way, in English, getting pissed means getting drunk. So I'm just showing how I have integrated American language. I don't mean getting drunk, but of course, there is nothing right or wrong, unless I say, fuck off, Marcus. Oh, funny. Yeah. So, well, I mean, Marcus is quite saintly, very pure.
Yes, true.
Very true. Funny. Darian.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Darian.
You said this, this whatever this is, doesn't make you saintly, but it also doesn't make you anything else.
No.
I was trying to find something which this would bring.
Yeah, well, the whole illusion is that there's anything that could be brought, you know, that could be that. What we're speaking of is the end of becoming. You know, there's nothing that does become anything else. The whole illusion is that there are things and things become something else over time. Well, they don't. All we have is stories that tell a story of it was something, that was something, now it's this, and so it will become that. And of course, the main story in that story of becoming is me. So I know what I was, I know what I am, and I know what I could be, or I might be, or what I dream I will be. And there is nothing that becomes anything else. Essentially, the whole illusion is of things, that that this is in parts. So really, the whole notion of thingness is that this is separated into objects, into things. And it's not true. But it's a very convincing illusion. And I'm not talking about that illusion disappearing. That illusion remains the same, but it can be very obvious that it is illusory, and that even though there are things apparently appearing, it looks like there's things, seems like there's things, but this is not in parts. There are this is whole. I mean, you've heard it from every speaker who speaks about this in the way that I might speak about it, is that it's complete. This is always complete. And completion doesn't have parts to it. It's not a machine. So if I hear anyone talk about this mechanically, that's so far from what wants to be spoken. I mean, a machine is the sum of its parts, seemingly, in the idea of a machine. Well, there are no parts. Life doesn't have parts.
What do you mean with mechanically? Like, speak about it mechanically.
You know, like I don't know, like a clockwork toy. You know, anything that you could construct this.
Like, there's a certain mechanism behind it.
Yeah, and that there's a mechanism that's making this work. This isn't working.
This isn't. Oh, thank you, Tim. That's what I wanted to hear.
You know, so there aren't parts to the machine. There isn't a mechanism, and there isn't an almighty turning the winder to make this work. You know, which is the idea of God, of deity, of source, if you want. And so there's a maker of the machine. There aren't any parts to this. There's nothing to be apart from it. So there aren't things that belong to it. There isn't an it. This isn't an it. But we don't have language that doesn't objectify. So when we speak about what we're speaking about, everything, and the only way to speak about it is paradoxically. Because if there's nothing other than, then of course everything is included.
Maybe with all the gender talk these days, we need to have like something for this, an extra category.
Well, you know, yeah, this is all genders and of course genderless. I will say, you know, with all the gender politics and political correctness around gender and with everything, actually, they kind of, there can be an empathy with it still, because But the empathy is with the selves who have identified themselves as a, because if you think about gender, I mean, it's all identity. And what we're speaking of is empty. So, I mean, a human being just is as it is. But one of the biggest issues that most human beings have is the identity of who I am and how significant and important that is. Now, there can be great empathy for human beings who have that strong sense of identity, and their gender is part of that, and sexuality. It can't be any other way if that is how it is. But it's all insignificant, really. But then everything is. But somebody who takes their identity very seriously, then it's best not to say that identity isn't significant, because you're likely to get, if not a punch in the face, you're going to get verbally assaulted. Because for self, identity is all. It's who I am. And above all, don't say someone's no one. Never. Only in a non-duality meeting.
Have you tried?
Not in the cafe or the pub.
Thanks, Tim. We're going to chime out now.
Okay. I'm well aware the clock on the wall doesn't work. Now, it has worked. It's had a battery in from time to time. Haha. But most of the time, it's utterly dysfunctional as a timepiece. So, yeah, it's not 4 p.m. or 5 to 4. True, Alicia. It's one of those clocks. I don't know if you've noticed how important self-image is, who I am, the truth of who I am is so important to self, but it's not that important to anyone else. In fact, it's completely insignificant to virtually everyone else, unless they identify with your identity. One of the hardest things for self is how important myself is, but most other people don't seem to recognize how important it is. Because of course, each self is almost utterly self-absorbed. And that's continually painful for self. Why can't others see why can't others see who I am, acknowledge who I am? Well, because they're doing the same as you. Trying to be seen. And one of the things that self will never accept is that no one's ever seen me. I can't be seen by any other human being, ever. You've never seen another. You've seen other human bodies, and then you've inferred from that you know them. It's nonsense. It's absolutely not true. And the lie, it's not really a lie, it's a lie infers that you know you're lying, but the delusion that you can know another self comes from the self-delusion that I know myself. So if I know myself, I can know another self. And of course, the selves conspire. Most of human society conspires together to reinforce this illusion that I know myself, and of course I can know other selves. It's hugely liberating. Don't get me wrong, it can be devastating if it's really seen that you've never known another. But there's great freedom in that. Because you could stop trying. No effort required. It's impossible. So the trying doesn't happen. But if your sense of identity, if your sense of self is very tied in with the attachment that you know, the sense that you know others and they're part of you, they're part of yourself, of course it can be quite a devastating revelation. That there can be some despair in that, because you really feel like there can be grief in it. So just as most human beings grieve the loss of a human being dying who they're very close to and love, that if this is like everyone that you've ever known dying, really. I mean, I don't mean bodily, physically, but in your illusion of what they meant to you, that you did actually know who they were when you never did. You never do. And then very paradoxically, there's much more love in that not knowing than there ever was in the delusion of knowing. It's a much more loving. And you don't want to tell anyone else that they're wrong either. There's no sense of that.
Robert sent me a message, says, are we all interconnected? And I asked him.
No, interconnection is parts being connected. That's the machinery analogy I talked about earlier. No, there's no. So it's not that there's one, it's that there's not two and many. So this wholeness, this completeness appearing as two, as many, as parts, not parts at all. No, there is no separation. So there's no interconnectedness, because that requires separate parts to be either disconnected or connected. There is no disconnection without any parts. This is whole already. So the desire for connection comes from the sense of being separate, of being disconnected. There's neither. That doesn't mean there can't be a feeling of connection, though. Or disconnection. Because me saying that, I was thinking, someone listening to that would go, okay, so feeling disconnected is wrong and feeling connected is wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with any sense of anything. It's all complete, including feelings of disconnection and feelings of connection. There is nothing wrong with anything. But the whole sense in spirituality, or in not just spirituality, just psychology, connection, good, disconnection, bad. Connection, healthy, disconnection, unhealthy. Well, no, they're just things that appear, or your feeling that appear, thoughts that appear. I can't remember what the question was now.
It was just, can you ask Tim, are we all interconnected?
No. There is no all of us. I mean, it's just another lovely myth that there is, you know, the sum total of humanity. It's another lovely fantasy, really. That's, you know, it's a lovely new agey thing, I always think, all of that. If only we could, you know, if we could if we could utilize all the human energy and come together and commune as one, then, you know, we could solve every problem that there is. Well, what if there's no problems? There are seeming problems, of course. I have, you know, I've been to the dentist. But what I mean, and I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying, because I'm saying that in an absolute way. On a relative, because the relative and the absolute are just the same. On a relative level, of course, feeling connected to another human being, feeling that sense of connection is absolutely beautiful, probably as beautiful as anything that can appear. And I'm not talking about there is no connection. I'm just saying it's not yours. You can't connect with someone else. You don't connect. But there can be this beautiful sense of connection. So I've just contradicted myself completely, but that's fine. One of the great beauties of this is the freedom to be completely contradictory. Because there is no getting this right. So is there any connection? Absolutely not. Is there an appearance of connection? Of course there fucking is. That's it. Now you don't have to like that, but you might have to lump it. Well, that's the thing with me, isn't it? The thing with me is there's a sense of connection with a human being. I've inferred loads of shit that doesn't need to be inferred from that. Like, I know you for a start, because there's this sense of who knows? You just don't know. You know, we've got all kinds of stories. The ultimate one is falling in love, you know, the ultimate connection. Well, you know, chances are the other person's felt fuck all. You know, that's how the story usually goes. Just now and again, they felt the connection as well. And then bingo, now we're in the money, aren't we? You know, whoop, whoop, it's party time. But, you know, that's not how the story usually goes. Most of that wonderful connection feeling is totally unrequited and is shit dreadful. But somehow, you know, we overlook that. But yeah. So I think human connection is absolutely natural, is what I'm trying to say. But we make it into much more than it actually is. It's just beautifully natural. We're very social animals.
Laura wanted to say something.
Laura.
Hey, there was just one question popping up here. So are you telling rubbish? And this is not an impolite question. Are you telling rubbish, or are you speaking rubbish?
How very dare you, Laura? Well, yeah, but it's no more. The thing is, Laura, yeah, it is rubbish, but it's no more rubbish than anything else. There you go. So whether you hear this and you think it's sublime wisdom, and I am probably the greatest living sage, or you hear it and yeah, probably top three very least, or you hear it and you go, what a load of shit. It's neither here nor there. It makes no odds. Because every human being has this is the key. Every human being who hears what they hear will judge it, and they don't have any say over the judgment. So if you hear this and it's rubbish, it's rubbish. If you hear this and it's incredible, it's incredible. One is not better or worse than the other. It's just as it is. That's what's being said. Now, you obviously don't think it's rubbish because you've listened to this for almost an hour.
Well, I don't know if I have really listened to it, but the thing is that it just was so clear suddenly that this that it doesn't make sense. I was trying somehow to make sense out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked, is it rubbish? Because suddenly it was clear that this is like, it's not possible to make sense out of this kind of
Brilliant.
whatever.
No,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense. No.
And yeah, and I think that's quite a thing, because somehow at least my mind is brilliant in its effort to make sense out of what's going on, whatever it is. It tries to always make somehow some sense.
True.
And sometimes it's like clear that it tries to do that, and sometimes it's not clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, no, that's really good, because what I'm speaking of is the freedom from trying to make sense of what's going on.
yes. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's not rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Laura. No, that's true. Yeah, it's rubbish in the sense of it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsense. It is nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah.
To mind, this is always nonsense.
Yeah. And previously when you were talking about this, there is no one who's disconnected. I can, like, it was like it was like clear somehow. It was like clear that there is just, and that's the quietest.
That's good, because you're just doing that, and that's as good a description as any description I've ever heard. It's true. Yeah. So, and then there's just
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Laura. That's great. Yeah. So this is nonsense, and this doesn't make sense. But so really, how is trying to make sense of what's going on? How have you got on with that? That's what I might say. How's that going? The making sense of what's going on. I mean, it's what Michael talked about vigilance earlier. You've got to be so vigilant with that. It's constant, just working it out so that I feel safe. So again, another bit of nonsense. The only security, the only safety is that there is none. So if there is no security, if there is no safety, that's the only safety and security. That's freedom from that constant vigilance to keep myself safe. That's what we're speaking about. There is no safety. Forget it. You can't forget it. The one who's trying to keep safe can't forget that. It's your job. My job is to keep myself safe and keep everyone I love safe, everyone I care about. Now, of course, some human beings, some selves, extend that to the whole world and then wonder why they feel really shit. I mean, what a job that is. It's hard enough just looking after yourself and keeping yourself safe. But most selves don't rest at that. They extend it and extend it. So what if nothing's wrong? Then there is no security. That's liberation. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Yeah, if you'd like to be on the mailing list and you're not, then just email me at clistim@gmail.com and I'll put you on the mailing list and send the invitation. If any of you make it to London on Saturday, I don't know if anyone's coming who comes to the Zooms.
Tim, somebody put in the chat,
Yes.
there's a strike on Saturday.
I know, I don't control fucking British Rail.
So a lot of British Rail, yeah.
Do I? I know, this is the third time I've had a meeting and there's a train strike. I mean, you do know there's a train strike. I can't plan for train strikes. Yeah, so fortunately, there are 8 million people in London. Yeah. So I should get a couple of million at least.
Least.
Very least. Yeah, there's plenty of people who don't need to get a train. Yeah, so we'll see. I do realise, because there's a couple of people who've already messaged me and say I was coming, but can't get the train. But never mind. So I do plan on having I've got a meeting in London booked for the next 3 months, and I'll put all the details on the website. But yeah, I've got a meeting booked for December and January. And for the time being, I'll I enjoy doing this, so we'll carry on with Thursday meetings. Or not.
Thanks, Tim.
Well, cheers, Darren. Thanks for your help. Thanks for everybody for coming.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks a bunch.
And
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Darren.
thanks very much.
That's
Thank you.
gorgeous.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, lovely to see you all.
Thanks, Tim. Mwah.
Oh, no, it's not yet recording stuff.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen.
Emma.